Let's talk about your questions and my answers on all of the moving parts of the New England Patriots offseason. My goodness, the top 5 draft pick, $130 million in cap space, and a new OC and DC. There are a lot of things coming at us here, so I want to make sure we're all on the same page moving forward. And before we do hop into that, I want to make sure you guys follow me on other platforms. I know TikTok right now may or may not be banned. I unfortunately deleted the app off my phone. So if you guys still have the app, be sure to follow me at Boston Barefoot. And on X, at AR Barefoot. Be sure you guys are following me on these social media platforms. That way, we can connect about Patriots football all the time, anywhere, not just on YouTube. Let's hop into question number 1. Red Liker. Patriots, thoughts on them going with McDaniels instead of someone else? I do think Josh McDaniels was the right hire for offensive coordinator. We do know that there were a few other options in the hiring process, and we know that one of Vrabel's top choices was Tommy Rees, who did get internally upgraded to OC for the Cleveland Browns. But I think ultimately Josh McDaniels is a familiar face that he can hop in and bring this Patriots offense right back on track. Not to mention can also put fans back in their seats because they know the product that they are going to get with Josh McDaniels. The number one reason why I love McDaniels for Drake May is because he has 11 years as the quarterback's coach, along with being the offensive coordinator. He is going to know exactly what to do with Drake May. And I know you guys may say, well, Tom Brady was the greatest of all time. McDaniels wasn't that great of an OC, or vice versa. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time because he had Josh McDaniels as his OC. Regardless, he's worked with the best there is. And I want that for Drake May moving forward. McDaniels was the right hire, and I'm excited to see what he can do moving forward. Another question coming in from Pale Guy. I relate to that. January has not been my friend. Patriots, how good is Carter? I never watched college football. That's fair. Abdul Carter is legit. The hype around him is very real. What you hear about Carter, you should absolutely believe. When you're looking at a guy like Carter, he dominates getting off the block. He is somebody that is so fast. His hand movements and his quickness is what makes him so special. And when I say he is a quarterback's worst nightmare, I truly do believe it. And I do think that pairing him with a guy like Keion White can make Keion White a lot better as well, because Keion White would want to be an Abdul Carter. He really would. And if you have them both on either side of the line, bringing that pressure every single time to these quarterbacks, it's going to create havoc for offensive lines. Abdul Carter is a very, very good prospect, great build, great footwork. I think the draft combine will also show us a little bit more about the actual intricates about his hand size and his speed and whatnot. But from what I see, game in and game out, he knows how to stuff the run. He knows how to close in those gaps. And he does very, very well of getting off the block, moving around the outside, and disrupting passing plays. Abdul Carter is legit. Go on ahead and watch his highlights. I highly recommend. You will be satisfied. My main man, Boston Bob. Patriots, Allie, is Kelvin Banks our guy with a number 4 pick? I'm going to be honest, and I may have an unpopular opinion here. I would rather go Will Campbell over Kelvin Banks Jr. And I'm so sorry, Texter. I know it's always hook 'em horns. But I do think with a Will Campbell guy, you are getting more of a structured, all-around good offensive lineman. With a guy like Kelvin Banks, the only reserve I have for him right now is because he is coming off a nasty injury that he sustained in his senior year at Texas. And I don't really want to have to deal with the rehab process and go through the whole Cole Strange process again of seeing him play for a little bit and then losing him for another season because he re-injured himself or he has another injury that evolves. But I get it. Injuries are a part of the game. But also, with the number 4 pick, I don't think Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks Jr. will go that early. I think we would only get Banks if we trade down, which I hope we don't, because there is a lot of talent they can still get at number 4. And I've said this before, I would rather have a veteran blocking and protecting Drake May than a rookie. There is no shade to rookies, but with a second-year quarterback, I'd rather give him a little bit more this year for making up for what he had to deal with last year. But I don't hate Kelvin Banks Jr. I don't hate him. Cali Lama. Thoughts on Pats bringing in Wes Welker as wide receiver coach? As of right now, I do not believe the Patriots have hired a new wide receiver coach, although they did go with Tony Dews as their running back coach. But I do know that Yes, the wide receiver coach in Miami right now can definitely be beneficial because they do have a Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill-esque of personnel that he has worked with and grown to be a better type of wide receiver group. I do think that I would be more intrigued to see what the offensive coordinator and Josh McDaniels and Mike Vrabel can bring in free agency to then decipher whether or not we need to up our wide receiver coaching position. Because as of right now, we have no talent for this wide receiver coach to even work with. I mean, you got Pop Douglas, got Kayshon Boutte and Kendrick Bourne, but what are we talking about, guys? These aren't your Justin Jeffersons and your Amon-Ra St. Browns. But overall, I'm not opposed to the fact that we could bring in a guy like West that has established success. But I want to see what we can get quickly in free agency to help draw in better eyes to that wide receiver position. So I have a question for you guys here. Talking a little bit about Kelvin Banks a second ago. Who should the Patriots draft in the first round of the NFL draft? Go on ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. While you guys are doing that, let me tell you real quick about our sponsor here on Patriots Today, and that is Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get tickets to any sporting event, concert, comedy show, or maybe even the theater. If you guys are looking to treat yourself, treat your significant other as Valentine's Day is right around the corner, or just take your friends or family, Game Time is a place to go because I know you guys can get the lowest price guaranteed. 110% will get the lowest price guaranteed, and you'll get all-in pricing as well. And if you use their favorite feature, Game Time Picks, this does fluff out all of the nitty-gritty and just make sure you guys just get the best deals on the best seats without having to search through thousands and thousands of tickets. Game Time makes getting tickets to your favorite teams play live even easier. So why haven't you downloaded it yet? If you guys want to go ahead and get started, well, they can hook you up. All you guys have to do is download the Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS. This will get you $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms apply. Again, download the Game Time app, use promo code CHATSPORTS. This will give you guys $20 off your first time buying tickets while terms do apply. If you haven't already, go on ahead, download the Game Time app today because what time is it? It is game time. Running back 3 coming in here, or just RB3. Patriots, does T-Mac's speed scare you? It was reported he needed help to beat press coverage. Obviously, with a guy like 6'5", you're not going to get the entire package. I do love his height, but, his speed could definitely be something that he can work on. Once again, we'll see more in the NFL Draft Combine, what we're really working with here. I'm not expecting a 4.2 or anything like that, but McMillan has the upper edge with being a taller target. When he creates a separation, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a Tyreek Hill with speed. It can be with a climbing the ladder. It can be with a Drake May that tends to overthrow receivers anyways. If you plant that ball 5 yards above the nearest defender's head, it's going to miss their hands and fall right in Tetairoa's. He has the ability to create separation upwards, not outwards. So if he does not have the speed that we're looking for, there are other ways to get him involved in the passing game that could still be a very beneficial factor that not all receivers have, like a Tyreek Hill, who has the speed, doesn't have the height that McMillan does. So I think it's just take the good with the bad. I'm excited to see what he does score in the draft combine. If we're talking like a 5.2, then yeah, maybe I'll start rethinking my pick at number 4. But I think overall he may just be an average runner, but he's a lot taller than the average wide receiver. Another question from Old Man Mob. With Vrabel saying fullback will be back, do you see us drafting one or signing one? The only fullback that I ever think of is Kyle Juszczyk with the 49ers, and they sometimes use him, not all the time. I'm fine with the fullback coming back. I can't even think of one like off my head that they can go out and sign in the NFL draft. Honestly, right now, you also have to think, we don't have a 6th-round pick. We have 3 7th-round picks, so maybe it could just be like a best available towards the end of the draft and see if they can just start implementing the fullback into different schemes. But in terms of signing one, it's such a position that isn't utilized as much anymore. I don't really know what it would take to even get a fullback in signing. So I think Vrabel, if he says he's going to start to incorporate that position back into our personnel, he's probably got a plan of how to get one. But I definitely don't see us trading or drafting one in like a 3rd or 4th round, especially with how many different positions we need to attend to before we pick up the fullback position, I think it'd be awesome. You know, I'm always definitely here for more ground and pound type of games, but I mean, unless I'm like full-blown missing someone, I really only ever think of Juszczyk year in and year out. That's why that guy's a Pro Bowler, because there's really nobody else competing with him every single season. So it will be interesting to see what Vrabel does decide to do with that position moving forward. Nolan Herron coming in here. Patriots, what we taking in draft, O-line or wide receiver? My order of operations, if I was Robert Kraft, would be pick number 4, take Abdul Carter. Round 2, you take your wide receivers. Round 3 and 4, you harp on the offensive line. Not primarily guys for starting positions, but definitely to add some depth back into our chart. And then really hone in on free agency and trades to bulk up that offensive line. So if they do decide to go with a wide receiver in the first round, it would be a Tetairoa McMillan in my eyes. The only way they're going to draft an offensive lineman in round 1, I think they would trade down for, just to pick up a couple extra things and still secure a Kelvin Banks or a Will Campbell. But I do think that Abdul Carter would be a really good guy for the Patriots, and he, of course, is the edge on defense. Nonsense Nick coming in. Best possible free agent we should go after. Tee Higgins. Tee Higgins would obviously shake things up like none other. Tee Higgins not so happy in Cincinnati. He wanted to leave last season but ended up taking the cap hit of $25 million. I think that Tee Higgins would be perfect for this type of personnel. He would fit really well with a Josh McDaniels type of system. But I do know that Tee Higgins is going to be a very hot commodity, so I think the second free agent target we should go after in terms of wide receivers should be Chris Godwin. I think we should also pick up the phone, try and get Cam Robinson, Trey Smith. There are several positions, maybe even a Chase Young on defense if you don't end up getting a guy like Abdul Carter. I think there are several positions that the Patriots can get after this season in free agency. And I definitely have put out some videos already about my top free agent picks, but I will continue to put out more videos really detailing who I want and the latest reports on who the Patriots are going to get in free agency. New England faithful coming in with our last question. What's your confidence level in Mike Vrabel leading the Patriots, Allie? Great question. I don't normally get asked the questions that I ask you guys. 8.2. My confidence out of 10, 1 through 10, is 8.2. He's an established head coach. He is a leader of men. He is a player's coach. He will put on the pads and block for you guys in practice. He had success in Tennessee with frickin' Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback. He is in the Patriots Hall of Fame. He knows what it means to be a New England Patriot. He knows the Patriots way. I think this is going to be a good, fresh start to a new era in New England. So I'm going to go with an 8.2. My confidence level for Mike Vrabel leading the Patriots this season. If you guys are excited for next season, go on ahead, like this video for me if you guys haven't already. A lot of changes, a lot of great things coming our way. I'm super excited to get back to the ball field. If you guys haven't already, hit that like button for me. And as always, subscribe to Patriots Today by Chat Sports.